We see it. We try not to stare, but the question burns, why? Why would someone deemed desirable by the relentless algorithms of our age choose someone the world has seemingly overlooked? Tonight, we descend into the uncomfortable truths of attraction, beyond the airbrushed illusions and the curated feeds. We're not seeking comfort, we're dissecting desire, and what we find might just shock you. Forget the Disneyfied fantasies of soulmates mirroring perfect features. We're venturing into the raw, primal, and often deeply illogical landscape of human connection. We're not just asking why, we're exposing the cracks in our understanding of love, and the unsettling realities that lie beneath. For eons, we've been fed narratives of beauty equating to worth, to love. But what if that narrative is a carefully constructed lie? What if our deepest attractions defy the shallow metrics we've been taught to value? Science, in its cold, objective way, is beginning to reveal a truth that challenges everything we think we know. Consider the "what is beautiful is good" stereotype. While initially seeming to hold weight in superficial judgments, studies like Dion, Burstiad, and Walster, 1972, showed this bias primarily affects initial impressions. This groundbreaking delved into the pervasive societal assumption that physically attractive individuals possess more desirable personality traits and are destined for better life outcomes. The researchers aimed to empirically test this stereotype, investigating whether our initial judgments based on appearance extend beyond mere physical appeal to influence our perceptions of character and future success. By presenting participants with photographs of individuals rated as high, average, or low in attractiveness, the study sought to uncover the extent to which beauty acts as a positive halo, shaping our overall impressions. The methodology involved showing undergraduate participants photographs of strangers and asking them to rate these individuals on a range of personality traits and predict their future life events. Participants were not given any information about the people in the photos other than their appearance. The core of the experiment lay in comparing the ratings and predictions assigned to the attractive individuals versus those deemed less attractive. The researchers hypothesized that the "what is beautiful is good" stereotype would lead participants to attribute more positive qualities and expect more favorable life circumstances for those who were physically appealing. The findings of the study strongly supported the existence of the "what is beautiful is good" stereotype. Participants consistently rated attractive individuals as possessing more socially desirable traits, such as sociability, happiness, and success, compared to those rated as less attractive. Furthermore, they predicted more positive life outcomes, including happier marriages and more fulfilling careers, for the physically appealing individuals. This seminal research provided compelling early evidence for the powerful and often unconscious bias that links physical attractiveness to positive assumptions about personality and potential, a bias that can have significant implications for social interactions and judgments. When it comes to long-term relationship satisfaction, factors like personality take precedence. Our initial judgments are often wildly inaccurate predictors of lasting connection. Think about the relentless pursuit of physical perfection our culture demands. Yet, study after study reveals that kindness and understanding are consistently ranked as top desired traits in a partner, often outweighing physical attractiveness, particularly for women in long-term contexts. David Buss's 1989 study, Sex Differences in Human Mate Preferences, Evolutionary Hypotheses Tested in 37 Cultures, was a landmark investigation into what men and women desire in a long-term mate across diverse societies. This ambitious research involved over 10,000 participants from 33 countries spanning 6 continents and 5 islands, making it one of the most comprehensive cross-cultural studies on human mate selection. Buss's work was heavily influenced by evolutionary psychology, proposing that mate preferences have evolved to solve adaptive problems related to survival and reproduction. The study employed questionnaires that asked participants to rate the importance of 18 different characteristics in a potential mate, using a 4-point scale ranging from irrelevant or unimportant to indispensable. These characteristics included traits like good financial prospects, physical attractiveness, ambition and industriousness, kindness, and chastity. The study also gathered information on preferred age differences in a partner and the desire for children. By examining these preferences across a wide range of cultural contexts, Buss aimed to identify potential universal patterns in human mate selection that could point towards evolutionary underpinnings. The findings of Buss's 1989 study revealed several significant cross-cultural patterns, providing support for evolutionary hypotheses about mate preferences. Notably, women across almost all cultures placed a higher value on good financial prospects, ambition, and industriousness in a potential mate compared to men. Conversely, men in the majority of cultures rated physical attractiveness and youth as more important than women did. These sex differences were interpreted through the lens of parental investment theory in sexual selection, suggesting that women prioritize resource acquisition in a mate to ensure the survival of offspring, while men prioritize cues of fertility and reproductive potential. While cultural variations existed in the specific rankings of certain traits, the consistent sex differences across diverse cultures provided compelling evidence for evolved mate preferences. We're chasing an ideal that often takes a backseat to basic human decency. The concept of compensatory mating offers another unsettling perspective. Research suggests individuals might consciously or unconsciously trade off perceived deficits in one area for strengths in another. A study by Feingold, 1992, on the matching hypothesis found that while people tend to pair with those of similar attractiveness, discrepancies can be balanced by other desirable traits. Alan Feingold's meta-analysis, "Good-looking people are not what we think," provided a comprehensive examination of the matching hypothesis in romantic relationships. The matching hypothesis proposes that individuals tend to form romantic relationships with partners who are similar to themselves in terms of physical attractiveness. Feingold's work aimed to synthesize the findings of numerous previous studies that had investigated this phenomenon, providing a more robust and generalizable understanding of the extent and nature of matching in romantic pairings. To conduct his meta-analysis, Feingold statistically combined the results of a large number of independent studies that had assessed the physical attractiveness of individuals in dating, engaged, and married couples. This approach allowed him to overcome the limitations of individual studies, such as small sample sizes or specific populations, and to identify overall patterns and the strength of the relationship between partners' attractiveness levels. By aggregating the data from diverse research settings, Feingold sought to determine the consistency and magnitude of the matching effect across different types of relationships and populations. The results of Feingold's meta-analysis provided strong support for the matching hypothesis. He found a significant positive correlation between the physical attractiveness levels of romantic partners across a wide range of studies. This indicates that people are indeed more likely to pair up with others who are similarly attractive to themselves. However, Feingold's analysis also revealed that while the matching effect is statistically significant, it is not overwhelmingly strong. This suggests that while individuals tend to seek out similarly attractive partners, other factors beyond physical attractiveness also play a crucial role in mate selection and relationship formation. The study highlighted that the matching hypothesis represents a general tendency rather than an absolute rule in romantic pairing. Attraction can be a calculated, almost transactional process beneath the surface of romance. And what about the unsettling power of confidence? A man who exudes self-assuredness, even without fitting conventional beauty standards, can be intensely magnetic. Studies in social psychology have consistently shown the impact of self-esteem and assertiveness on perceived attractiveness. Our perception of attractiveness is fluid and heavily influenced by non-physical cues. Consider the deeply ingrained evolutionary drives. Some, like David Buss's work on parental investment theory, suggest women may subconsciously prioritize partners who signal an ability to provide and protect, traits that historically weren't always tied to conventional male beauty. This study, primarily building upon Robert Triver's foundational ideas, posits that the sex which invests more heavily in offspring will be more selective when choosing a mate. This is because the higher investing sex has more to lose if they choose a poor-quality partner, as their investment in the resulting offspring is substantial. In humans, women typically have a higher minimum obligatory parental investment due to gestation, childbirth, and initial childcare, making them the higher investing sex in many contexts. Consequently, Buss's research, particularly his extensive cross-cultural studies on mate preferences, has consistently found that women place a greater emphasis on traits in potential long-term partners that signal an ability and willingness to invest resources in them and their offspring. These traits often include good financial prospects, ambition, industriousness, and social status. From an evolutionary perspective, these preferences would have been adaptive for women seeking partners who could provide the necessary support for the survival and well-being of their children, thereby increasing their own reproductive success. Think ruggedness, resourcefulness, even a certain level of perceived dominance. Our modern attractions might be echoing primal instincts we barely understand. But let's venture into even darker territory. The mere exposure effect, also known as the familiarity principle, is a psychological phenomenon where individuals tend to develop a preference for things simply because they are familiar with them. This effect suggests that repeated exposure to a stimulus, whether it's a person, object, symbol, or even a sound, can lead to an increased liking for it. This often occurs even without any conscious recognition of the prior exposure. This phenomenon is thought to arise for several reasons. One prominent explanation is that familiarity reduces uncertainty and the initial fear or caution we might feel towards something new. From an evolutionary perspective, things we've encountered repeatedly without negative consequences are likely to be safe. Additionally, repeated exposure can increase perceptual fluency, making the stimulus easier for our brains to process, which in turn can be experienced as a positive feeling. In the context of interpersonal attraction, the mere exposure effect suggests that the more often we encounter someone, the more likely we are to find them appealing. This can explain why people often form relationships with those who live nearby, work in the same office, or attend the same classes. Simply being in close proximity and encountering each other frequently can foster a sense of familiarity and, consequently, attraction, even if there wasn't an initial strong spark. And what about the unsettling reality of control and power dynamics? While deeply problematic, some studies, though ethically sensitive and requiring careful interpretation, suggest that in certain unhealthy dynamics, perceived unattractiveness in a partner might be subconsciously linked to a desire for dominance or control by the other individual. Attraction can be twisted and intertwined with the darker aspects of human psychology. Finally, let's confront the most shocking truth of all: beauty is subjective and culturally constructed. What one society deems attractive, another might find unremarkable, or even repulsive. Our perceptions are molded by media, trends, and deeply ingrained biases. The unattractive man in one context might be considered highly desirable in another. So, the next time you question an unconventional pairing, remember that you are witnessing a rebellion against the superficial, a potential subversion of societal programming, or perhaps, a glimpse into the raw, often unsettling, mechanics of human desire. What you perceive as a mismatch might be a testament to a connection forged on something far more profound, or disturbingly primal, than mere aesthetics. The truth about attraction is messy, complex, and often deeply uncomfortable. It forces us to confront our own biases, our own conditioning, and the unsettling reality that love, in its purest and most unexpected forms, often defies our neat and tidy categories. What unsettling truths about attraction have you witnessed or experienced? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Be warned, challenging our perceptions can be jarring.